Welcome to another Final Mile Español para mí lesson, a very important one at that. This lesson has two names, syllables and how to speak Spanish without an accent. We recommend that you do this lesson at the beginning of your Spanish language journey so that all the repetition you do to naturalize conjugation will also serve to bring about a natural Spanish accent. But if you already speak Spanish and are looking to polish your accent, not to worry, you've come to the right place. This lesson will take the mystery out of Spanish pronunciation and will show you exactly what you need to do, step by step, to speak Spanish clearly and correctly. As I said a minute ago, this lesson has two names. And most people who come here already speak some level of Spanish and they're trying to perfect it. But we also have the beginning students who are very wise to be investing the time now to make sure that from the get-go they learn the pronunciation correctly so that with basically no effort at all, their Spanish has a natural accent to begin with. Okay, so let's see where we are in the curriculum module map. We are still in the pronunciation module, really all of which is designed to help you speak Spanish without an accent. But in particular, this and the next lesson are very, very important to get you to speak with a natural accent. Okay, we have a prerequisite, Spanish letters and sounds. So hopefully you've already taken that class. If you haven't, you can just go and find it and take it. Okay, syllables. What exactly is a syllable? If you don't know, don't you worry, okay? A syllable is a part of a word that is pronounced as a unit. Let's look at some syllables in English here. Starting with the word syllable. If it were the first time that you were seeing it or hearing it and you saw it broken up in syllables like this, it would be very easy to pronounce it. Syllable, syllable. Let's look at the next one. Exactly. Difficult. Pronounce. This is a long syllable in it, and so it lends itself to illustrating how we have to pronounce the syllables as a unit. We cannot stop in the middle of a syllable. For example, look at the last syllable, pronounced, okay? We can't stop in the middle of nounced and still have it sound right. If we said noun, it would sound weird, right? So that's the whole point of a syllable. That is how we group the letters to pronounce them as subunits of a word. And this is where accent hides, especially in Spanish. Okay, syllables help us read unfamiliar words. Okay, again, let's go back to English so that we can get comfortable with this, right? Let's say that you haven't seen this word before. Many of us haven't, okay? And it's like, oh my goodness, what do I do with this? How do I pronounce it? If we break it up in syllables, then it's pretty easy. Laparoscope, laparoscope, okay? Let's take a derivative of that and see how it changes, okay? The cope part breaks up and the O in cope changes a little bit. Laparoscopy, laparoscopy. And an even scarier one, okay? Breaking it up into syllables, we can pronounce it exactly correctly, the way it's meant to be. Laparoscopically, laparoscopically. And this is what we're going to do with Spanish words, okay? It may not seem all that important to you, but yes, if we attach a letter to the wrong syllable, that is what gives us an accent. So we're going to learn how to do that today. Okay, it's very important to know where to separate the syllables. Again, in English, what would happen if we separated these syllables differently? Okay, ladle, okay, 2 syllables. If we put the D With the LA, this would sound completely different. Look at it. Read it like that. That would be ladly. That wouldn't work, right? Same thing happens in Spanish, but let's look at another word in English. Finally. Okay, that is correct. Finally. Okay. If we were to separate it like this, it would be finali, or finally. That would not work. So, very important that we learn how to separate the syllables correctly. Okay? In Spanish, as well as in English, each syllable must have at least one vowel. Okay? The vowel is the nucleus of the syllable. You may have noticed that when we are speaking a vowel, we can stretch it for a long time. We can rest there, if you will. Ah, eh, and so on. And this is at the heart of an accent, okay? Syllables are separated differently in English and Spanish. So if you look at a Spanish word and you separate the syllables the way you are used to separating them in English, that right there is what gives us an English accent. So, what we learned in the previous lesson, okay, the Spanish alphabet has 27 letters. You remember seeing this slide. Hopefully, if you took the prerequisite class, Spanish letters and sounds, we have 27 letters in the alphabet. Now we're going to start looking at it a little closer. It's still not important that you know the names of the letters, okay? That's not important. But you will remember that we have 5 vowels. Let's take this opportunity to review the sound of the vowels because we need that completely engraved permanently in our brains, okay? So we have ah, open mouth, long, ah, eh. Make the long sounds like I am making them, okay? This is what we need to do so that we can speak Spanish without an accent. Here, remember the smile? E. Closed, o. Oo. Okay, those are our 5 vowels and 22 consonants. Okay, so there are many more consonants than there are vowels. Okay, 5 to 22. We also learned in the previous lesson that when a word does not have a graphic accent, syllables play a very important role in determining where pronunciation emphasis falls. Okay, we will review those rules in just a moment, okay? So, for non-native Spanish speakers, look at this. 90% of a foreign accent. So, if we do this right, 90% of our foreign accent is going to go away, and the rest is just practice. Okay, so 90% of foreign accent is due to incorrect vowel pronunciation. Okay, and the reason this is challenging is because of the way we have been pronouncing the vowels in English all our lives. Because in and of itself, it is not difficult. All we have to do is learn those 5 sounds and always make them when we see those letters. And that's the challenging part, right? Because we are used to making different sounds in English. Okay, incorrect vowel pronunciation and incorrect syllable separation. Okay, if we can get these 2 things right, and that's what these lessons are about. And then there's one more about articulation of R, right? If we do all this right, a natural Spanish accent just naturally falls into place. So with a little bit of effort in learning these rules and practicing them, a natural accent just falls into place. Okay, vowels, English versus Spanish, okay? Even though the vowels are the same 5 letters in English and Spanish, okay? Say them again, okay? We're training your brain. Tell your brain, every time you see that letter right there, you say ah, e, smile, e, o, u. Okay, they are the same 5 letters, but there are very significant differences. English has more than a dozen vowel sounds. Okay, Okay, look at how the same letter here, the letter A, sounds different in these three words. A, mad, made, melatonin. Okay, look at the I here. This is what I mean when I say do not shorten your vowel. Fin, but this is fine. Okay, neither one of them matches the sound of the letter I in Spanish, which is E. Okay, speaking of E, look at the letter E. Element, equal, and ni. Okay, they do not sound the same. The O. Cop, cope, coop. The vowel U. Or U. Under, unique. And look at this. Okay, we accomplish the same sound, we affect the same sound with two different ways of writing it. Vein and vein, okay? The vein that runs through my heart, okay, through my body, and you are so vain. They sound exactly the same, but they are written different. This isn't going to happen in Spanish, okay? The vowels in Spanish are, for the most part, context insensitive, okay, meaning they don't change. And the reason I hesitate there a little bit, because you already know that the U sometimes is silent, right, after Q and between G and E and G and I, okay? But other than that, they will always sound the same. So this is what I just mentioned. English vowels are context sensitive, meaning depending on where they are in the syllable, they can change their sound. Same 5 vowels in Spanish, but only 5 vowel sounds. Say them again. Every time you have an opportunity, train your brain. Look at the letter and make the sound. Ah, open the mouth. E, smile. O, closed O, never ah. Oo. Spanish vowels always sound the same. So you look at it and you think this couldn't possibly be any easier. But where we stumble is when we look at a word and our brain has been reading English words all our lives, and so we go ahead and sound it like we do in English. Okay. In Spanish, they are clear, they are strong, and they are never short. Okay, this is interesting to give us some context and understand why this is so important. Okay, even though only 5 out of the 27 letters in the alphabet, not 13, not 14, okay, only 5 out of the 27 letters are vowels. Okay, almost half of the letters in text are vowels. Okay, what do I mean by this? If you take any page in a book, anything written in Spanish, and you count them, okay, the vowels will dominate. They will make up about 50% of the letters in the text. Okay, remember, every syllable needs at least one, so right there we have a lot of vowels. And this is what gives Spanish a very different sound than English. There are more vowels in Spanish text than in English text. That tells us something right away about the sound of the language. I say Spanish is more vowel-y. I made up that word, I know. Okay, so Spanish, almost 50%, like 49 point something. In English, it's less than 40%. Okay, big difference in sound. Okay, so in this and the next lesson, this is part 1 of a 2-part lesson on syllables. In this lesson, we start by looking at the basic Spanish syllables. Okay, how are we going to do syllable separation? It is very different in English and Spanish. And this is why we actually have to learn how to separate the syllables in Spanish so that we are not reading the words like we are reading English. Okay? Makes sense. We have to learn to separate the syllables the way the native speakers do if we want to sound like they sound. But once we learn to separate the syllables the way they do, we can't help but sound the way they do. Okay? Straightforward. Yes, we're going to have to learn some rules. Okay? So we're just going to roll up our sleeves and we're going to get this done. And then when we practice, it all becomes second nature and we can forget the rules. Okay? So I want you to take them seriously. I want you to learn them, but don't worry that you're going to go through life juggling grammar rules in your mind. That's not going to happen. Okay? The rules are just one step to get there. Then we practice and then we can forget about the rules. Okay? Now that we know why we need to do this, let's get going. Okay. So in English, most of our syllables do not end in a vowel. They end in a consonant. So that's also another contributor to the different sounds of the languages. Okay. So in Spanish, okay, the basic syllable and most common syllable is one consonant followed by one vowel. We have 5 vowels. So each consonant generates a set of 5 basic syllables. What does this? Okay, first let's pronounce the vowels by themselves. A, E, I, O, U. Okay, and that is the way the vowel is going to sound in the syllable. So we have A, ba, E, be, I, be. Our English brain would look at that and say, that's by. It's not by. Okay, so we're training our brain to speak Spanish. O, bo, u, bu. I just want to show you how to map the sound, right? How to carry the sound of the vowel by itself to the basic syllable. So we have ba, be, bi, bo, bu. If you walk by a first grade class in any Latin American country, you're going to hear this chorus of children saying ba, be, bi, bo, bu, da, de, di, do, do. And that's what we're going to do here for the next couple of slides, okay? Do you remember what was special about the consonant C? Do you remember the label? Not that it's important, but it is a variable consonant. Okay, do you remember how to pronounce this line? Okay, let's try it. Ka, se, si, ko, ku. Okay, see if your brain is willing to do it. Look at the syllables and make the sounds. C is one of 2 variable consonants in Spanish. We learned this in Spanish letters and sounds, which is the prerequisite for this class. Ka, se, si, ko, ku. Read them out loud. Da, de, di, do, do. Notice that the sound of the vowel doesn't change. Read them out loud. Fa, fe, fi, fo, fu. What's special about the G? It's the other variable consonant. So do you remember what this line should sound like? Ga, he, he, go, gu. Hopefully that is now second nature if you did the homework and practice exercise and you did all your naturalization repetitions. What was special about the H in Spanish? Let's never forget, the H in Spanish is silent. So read these syllables. Yes, they are like this. A, E, I, O, U. Just the way they would sound if the H were not there. Remember the J sound? It's a little bit stronger than the H sound in English. Ha, he, he, ho, hu. Ka, ke, ki, ko, ku. Even though we only have ki in Spanish letters, the other ones have to be pronounced when we say words of foreign origin. So if you were to take the slide and read it, one row across, top to bottom, okay? So we say fa, fe, fi, fo, fu, ga, he, hi, go, gu, a, e, I, o, u. You can see that you fall in a rhythm, okay? You establish a chant. And if this is very good for training your brain, if you are looking at the letters, looking at the syllables as you are making the sounds, this is excellent training. Please say the syllables out loud. La, le, li, lo, lu. Ma, me, mi, mo, mu. I'm giving you a chance to say them without my interrupting with my noise. Na, ne, ni, no, nu. Perhaps a little bit more challenging here. This is the ñ, okay, the one consonant in Spanish that we don't have in English. Ña, ñe, ñi, ño, ñu. And if you find this challenging to pronounce, there is a special homework and practice exercise that focuses exactly on this letter, and it gives you list upon list of words that have an ñ in it so that you can practice, and it is very effective. Pa, pe, pi, po, pu. If you want to take a screenshot of this or just, take a picture with your phone and practice, it doesn't take long, right? I mean, if you can just practice for 2 minutes every day, you will quickly train your brain to make those vowel sounds correctly. Okay, the Q, okay? Unless it is a word of foreign origin in Spanish, we will only find it followed by a silent U, and E, and I. Que, ki. Ra, re, ri, ro, ru. Sa, se, si, so, su. Ta, te, ti, to, tu. Va, ve, vi, vo, vu. Again, in foreign words, wa, we, wo, wu, just like in English. And this is the one that has different sounds depending on whether it is a regular word or an indigenous word. So let's just focus on regular words now. It is going to sound like the combination of a K and an S. Xa, xe, xi, so, su. Y, just a little bit stronger than the Y sound in English. Ya, ye, yi, yo, you. And this is a regional sounding consonant, right? Most of the Spanish-speaking world pronounces it just like an S. Sa, se, si, so, su. With the 8% in Spain pronouncing it slightly differently. Okay, let's do some words with basic syllables. Okay, this is your chance to practice. Let's do it. This is going to be casa. If you remember the pronunciation rules, pronunciation emphasis rules, this is the time to apply them, okay? Does it have a graphic accent? No. Does it end in a vowel or N or S? Yes. Therefore, pronunciation emphasis is on syllable number 2, which is ca, right? It's casa, not casa. Casa. Give you a moment to process it, okay, to decide where pronunciation emphasis falls. And if you guess syllable number 2, you are correct again. So this is going to be mariposa. Say it slowly like I'm saying it so that you get in the habit of strong, long vowels. Mariposa. Mesa. bonita. Long A's. Catarata. Do we have a graphic accent? Yes. No more questions. That's what graphic accent is. This is a PE3. Remember to smile for that I. In English, this would be comical. So that I in English would be short. Remember to smile in Spanish. Cómico. Cómico. No Z sound. Zapato. Again, no Z. Perezoso. Sereno. Cocina. Here's an ñ. Cariñosa. Graphic accent. Cerámica. Morado. Graphic accent. Caminará. Bebida. Okay, we've seen this name before so many times and we have pronounced it in English. So this is your chance to practice not letting your English habit influence the way you're going to pronounce this in Spanish. It's time to apply the rules that you know and come up with the Spanish pronunciation. First, we decide where pronunciation emphasis goes, okay? And then we say it paying attention to the vowel sounds. Teresa. Graphic accent. We got to smile for that I. Mecánico. Coronita. Okay. So hopefully that wasn't too challenging. Okay. Look at the words. Okay. Every single one of them is made up with only basic syllables. In the first exercise in your homework and exercise practice, homework and practice exercise is going to be all of these, all the words on the list are going to be composed of only basic syllables like these. One consonant followed by one vowel. Now let's spend a little time on special consonants. Consonants that are a little bit different. As we said before, the K is mostly used for kilo words, meaning 1,000. You want to try to pronounce this? Kilogramo. Graphic accent. Kilómetro. It's used with the other vowels in words of foreign origin. How do you think we say this? Okay, in English we shorten that E. In Spanish we should not. So we have kebab, karaoke. Okay, notice how in English the two A's have different sounds. Karaoke. Okay, but Spanish, karaoke. Koala. Okay, we already know the Q. Okay, in true Spanish words, it will always be followed by a silent U, an E or I. Quemar. Graphic accent. Aquí. and word of foreign origin. Qatar. Okay, let's practice with some words that have those consonants in them. We're doing the same thing, okay? This is your practice, okay? You have to ask yourself every time you look at a word, okay? And by the way, here, don't get confused, okay? With a syllable that you see in red is just the syllable that has the consonant that we are studying, not necessarily the syllable with pronunciation emphasis, okay? I'm glad I remembered to clear that up. Okay, so every time you see a Spanish word, first question you ask yourself, is there a graphic accent? Okay, if there is, no more questions to ask. That is where pronunciation emphasis goes. What is the next question? That's the one we have to memorize. Does the word end in a vowel or N or S? Very important. No way around it. We have to memorize that. Okay, if it does end in a vowel or N or S, it's syllable number 2, counting from right to left. And if it doesn't end in a vowel or N or S, and it doesn't have a graphic accent, then emphasis is on syllable number 1, or the rightmost last syllable, if you will. Okay? So, where is pronunciation emphasis here? We end with a vowel, no graphic accent, so it's parque. Graphic accent, seque. Graphic accent, kefir. Kayak. Smile, requisito. Requisito. Esquema. The highlighted syllable has pronunciation emphasis. Quitar. Kimono. Graphic accent. Kuwaiti. Blended, Kuwaiti. Karate. Queroseno. This one actually is interesting because it is a hyphenated word in Spanish. So the emphasis is on the fu. It's like it's said like two separate words. Kung fu. Queso. Saquemos. Kiosco. Okay, and a little bit of a side note here. It is not important that you memorize the meaning of the words here, okay? This is not necessarily a vocabulary building exercise. It is more important that we focus on the pronunciation of the words, even if we don't learn their meaning at this point. We will learn the meaning. We're going to get plenty of exposure, but right now what we are trying to do is we are trying to work on pronunciation. Okay, so what do we remember about the G? It is one of two variable consonants. Okay, the C and the G are variable in Spanish. So because of that, it has 4 additional basic syllables. Okay, so remember, ga, he, he, go, gu was the combination of the G and each of the vowels. But now we have these 4 additional syllables. Okay, so up here, the U is silent because it's between a G and an E and a G and an I. And down here, the U has been reactivated by the dots, the umlaut. So, do you know how to pronounce these? Ge, gi, gue, gui. Let's try it in words. lleguemos, seguido. Okay, this is interesting, okay? We have to smile twice for the eyes, and that U is not silent. So, did you try it? Bilingüe. Bilingüe. Agüita. Okay, now we will practice some words with those syllables in them. Hopefully you got guerra, aguinaldo. Listen for the pronunciation emphasis as I say it. You will start to hear that I put emphasis in that highlighted word. Again, not the one in red. The one in red is the syllables that we are studying, okay? But where I put the highlight, that is where pronunciation emphasis is. And you should be able to figure that out before I actually click and make the highlight show up. So this is going to be cigüeña, cigüeña. Graphic accent, cegué. Long syllable here. Let's see if we figure it out. This U is reactivated by the dots. It has to be voiced separately from this E here. So this is going to be, let me get the highlight there. Vergüenza. Vergüenza. Graphic accent. We gotta smile 3 times here. Distinguí. Guiño. Guirnalda. Guirnalda. Long syllable, okay? Let's look at it. What do these 3 together sound like? That is a silent U, right? So that's guien, guien. So that word is going to be siguiente. Dengue. Graphic accent. Sanguíneo. Smile. Hopefully you're in a good mood. Is that a silent U? No. So that middle syllable is going to be gui. Pingüino. Graphic accent. What's the middle syllable? G. The U is silent between G and I. Águila. Ooh, interesting. Come on, take on this challenge, okay? So, we have a graphic accent, so no questions about where pronunciation emphasis goes, okay? Is that a silent U or a voiced U? Okay, hopefully you said voiced. So what is that syllable going to sound like? Guis. Guis. And we gotta smile 2 more times, okay? Give it a shot. Hopefully you came up with linguístico. Okay, this is not lin, it's lean. Linguístico. Okay, tackle the syllable in red. Is that a voiced or silent U? It's voiced, so that's gonna be gue. Where's pronunciation emphasis? Second syllable. Averigüe. Averigüe. The homework and practice exercise has tons of these words for you to practice with and naturalize, so that very quickly all this becomes second nature. Hopefully you're already starting to feel that it's becoming quicker. Oh, here we are. Okay, it's time to do your tarea. If you don't know the word yet, tarea means homework or homework exercise or homework practice. Okay, so you are going to find this in volume 1 in the section on syllables or how to speak Spanish without an accent. And the homework is called Fundamentals. Here is the homework ID. You might want to take a picture of this or screenshot so you can pick out the right tarea to do. It is 20 pages. I told you it has a lot, and this is just one of the homework and practice exercises for this particular lesson. Okay, 20 pages of words so that you can practice this. At the end of it, there is a naturalization section that walks you through. It's like, okay, now you've filled it out. Now you got to go and do the repetition. Repeat it over and over because we want this to become second nature right away, so that as we continue with the rest of the lessons, we don't have to worry about this anymore. It's not distracting us. We know how to pronounce and how to speak Spanish correctly. Okay? We are only ready to do pages 1 to 5 of those 20 pages at this point. So you can, I advise, if you have it, go ahead and do pages 1 to 5 now. If you don't have it, here is the QR code, and take advantage of the promotion that we are having right now with YouTube. Use the discount code FM for Final Mile, FM YouTube, when you go to buy it, and you will get a 10% discount. Let's show you some of the pages from that homework and practice exercise. As you can see, screenshot directly from the lesson. It's right there to help you remember what we covered in the lesson. Okay, here are the lists of words. Okay, you're going to break them up into syllables. They are ready for you to do them. Okay, this reminds you about the silent U and the voiced U and gives you lists of words with that. There is the silent U following the Q and words like that. And there are obviously 20 pages, right? So there's more than that. Okay, so there is your code again, FMUTube. And we are now ready to have an interesting little short history lesson. Okay, former letters. Something big happened in the grammar world in Spanish in 1994. Prior to that, the Spanish alphabet had 30 letters. This sounds pretty drastic, doesn't it? What happened? How did the language lose 3 letters? How did the words change? What happened? Well, they just simply lost letter status. And there were many other significant grammar changes, okay? But the one that we want to talk about here is that 3 former letters lost their letter status. What in the world does that mean? Okay, these pairings of letters, okay, they lost their letter status. Prior to 1994, they were considered a single letter, okay? CH, double L, and double R. Because they were considered a letter, it required special algorithms in computers to alphabetize things, because CH came after C. So a word that started with CO would come before any word starting with CH, which was contrary to the way everything else works in the technology processing world. So we couldn't process these as 2 separate letters. So it required special algorithms. So for that reason, they decided, okay, no more. These are not going to be considered letters. So even though they are no longer part of the alphabet as letters, okay, their corresponding syllables, basic syllables, remain unchanged. They sound the same. The words did not change. They are still there. But now, cha is considered to have 3 letters, not just 2. Okay, so let's pronounce these. It should start to get easier now. Cha, che, chi, cho, chu. Remember, a little stronger than a Y. Y and double L sound the same in Spanish. And it is just a little bit stronger sound than the Y sound we make in English. So this is ya, ye, ji, yo, ju. Ra, re, ri, ro, ru. Okay. Dígrafos is the name of those double letters, if you would. Okay, so let's practice some words with those special syllables, okay? So this would be calle. Again, the red one is just the consonants that the syllables that we are studying. Pronunciation emphasis is independent of that. Sometimes they coincide. Carro. Noche. Corre. Muchacha. Remember, no Z sound and we have to smile. Carrizo. Chico. Gallina. Marrano. Pollo. Borracho. Lluvia. Churro. Verruga. Rodilla. Okay. Let's talk about another set of syllables, compound syllables. As you can see, we started with the basics, and little by little we are growing into more complex syllables, okay? There's going to be quite a few rules, but we will be methodical about this. We will take the time, we will get used to applying the rules, and before you know it, this will all be second nature. The letters L and R are used in combination with certain other consonants, not all of them, to make compound syllables. What am I talking about? Okay, we remember the basic syllables with for the consonant B, right? So every consonant gave us, oversimplification, but every consonant gave us 5 syllables, 5 basic syllables. So this would have been ba, be, bi, bo, bu. So we can take these letters, an L or an R, and insert it in between the B and the A and come up with another syllable. So this is going to be, see that we inserted an L between the B and the vowel? And in the lower line, we inserted an R, an L and an R. Okay, and we can do this not with all the consonants, but with some of them. We will learn which ones. Okay, so let's pronounce these. Okay, bla, ble, bli, blo, blue. Notice that the sound of the vowel remains exactly the same. Bla, ble, bli, blo, blue. Bra, bre, bri, bro, bru. Okay, these are compound syllables with the B. Okay, L and R are the only 2 consonants that can be inserted in here. Bla, ble, bli, blo, blu. Bra, bre, bri, bro, bru. Okay, with C, same thing. Remember ka, se, si, ko, ku? Okay, now if we put an L in there, okay, now the sound of the C remains constant. So this is going to be, give it a shot. Kla, kle, kli, klo, clu, cra, cre, cri, cro, cru. D is interesting because we don't do the L with D, only the R. Dra, dre, dri, dro, dru. F, we do both. Fla, fle, fli, flo, flu. Fra, fre, fri, fro, fru. Okay, pronounce these out loud. This is your opportunity to lay down a solid foundation. Gla, gle, gli, glo, glu. Gra, gre, gri, gro, gru. With P. Pla, ple, pli, plo, plu. Pra, pre, pri, pro, pru. Same with T. Tla, tle, tli, tlo, tlu. Tra, tre, tri, tro, tru. Okay, so here we're going to summarize so that we'll show them just with A so that we can fit it all in one page, okay? So these are the consonants that we can do this with. Remember that D only takes the R. Okay, 7 consonants that we can do this with. Okay, B, C, D, F, G. So basically all the consonants at the beginning of the alphabet up until G. Okay, and then P and T. 7 consonants. Okay, let's practice some of those words. Again, we are reinforcing what you learned in Spanish letters and sounds, right? It all comes together. It may seem like a lot of rules, but believe me, it's worth it because at the end of this module, you are able to look at any Spanish word. Anyone at all, even if you don't know what it means and you have never seen it before, and you can pronounce it to perfection. And then it's also going to lead us to have a natural Spanish accent. As we continue to study the language in subsequent more advanced lessons, what's going to happen is as we do those repetitions, okay, to learn and naturalize those concepts, little by little, a natural Spanish accent is going to just fall into place. That's the goal. Okay, again, every time you look at a word, what do you think? Does it have a graphic accent? The answer here is no. Does it end in a vowel or N or S? Yes. So we know that pronunciation emphasis falls on syllable number 2 because we count syllables from right to left. Syllable number 1, syllable number 2. Okay, so here we go. What does that sound like? We have to smile. Grillo. Notice the compound syllable. It's G-I with an R in between. Okay. Crucigrama. Okay, that doesn't say pie. It doesn't say P. Okay, we have to pronounce each vowel. So that's going to be piedra. Blended. Piedra. Reclamo. Pregunta. Okay, that does not sound gun, right? I mean, it's like your brain has been looking at these 3 letters all your life and saying gun. Now we have to train it to say gun. Pregunta. No Z sound. Abrazo. Fruta. Graphic accent. Plátano. Atleta. regla. Trabajar. Okay, we have to smile twice, and we have a graphic accent. So figure it out. Slowly. Bíblico. Negro. Primavera. Say it slowly like that, okay? Good habits. Graphic accent. Frívolo. Smile. Chiflar. What does J-E sound like in Spanish? Strong H sound, remember? G. Drenaje. Logramos. Okay. Sometimes we can have a syllable containing only a single vowel. When does that happen? Okay, I want you to pronounce the vowels. Okay, hopefully you remembered. For the A, you open your mouth big. Ah. Feel your mouth open. Feel the muscles of your face open and associate that with that letter. It will be a good reminder. Ah. Okay? For A, you don't open your mouth as wide as you do for ah. And you stretch it out to the sides. A. Pure sound, not A. A. Okay? What do we do here? Yes, I know. You smile. Okay? E. Closed O. O. U. A, E, I, O, U. Okay, I just want you to see that sometimes the syllable will just be a vowel by itself. And we will explain why all that happens, okay? So here we go. You're practicing pronunciation emphasis, figuring out where it goes. Elegante. 3 smiles. Ilimitado. Amigo. Uña. Did you figure it out? Aerolínea. Blended. Aerolínea. Enorme. In English, that would be enormous, right? So, enorme, long A. Anemia. Graphic accent. And what does GI sound like? Okay, it's he. No Z sound. So here there is a bit of a stutter, right? Zoológico. Zoológico. Odioso. Enemigo. Okay, remember that I. Irresponsable. Graphic accent and 1 smile. Único. Okay, another name. We have seen this and pronounced it many times in English, so let's not let that influence how we pronounce it in Spanish. Let's use the rules that we have been practicing, okay? So first of all, where does pronunciation emphasis go? Okay, Does it have a graphic accent? No. Does it end in a vowel or N or S? No. Therefore, it's syllable number 1, okay? We have to smile for that capital I. So this is going to be, and in English, we pronounce it like a Z, okay? I don't want to say it because I don't want to distract you, okay? So focusing on Spanish, this is going to be Isabel. Isabel. Graphic accent. Anatomía. And another little stutter for a double O. Cooperar. Cooperar. Okay, 2 vowels together can also form a syllable, usually at the beginning of a word. So let's see some of those. Pronunciation emphasis is on what syllable? Okay, so this can be a bit challenging because we come up with different vowel sounds when we have 2 vowels together in English. We don't have to worry about that, okay? Because in Spanish, we have to say each one of the vowels. This is A, and this is U. So we say AU. When we blend it together, AU, AU. Sounds like OW and how. AU, AU, how, AU. Auditor. Okay, all you have to remember is just enunciate each of the vowels, okay, one after the other. Oiremos, oiremos. Again, au. Audaz, audaz. You are seeing, hopefully you can notice, that the rules are very consistent, right? If there are any exceptions, we already learned them, right? But if you take the set of rules as you learn them, you get it right 100% of the time. Oigo, oigo, oigo. Another au, like au, how. Graphic accent. Autografo. Say it slowly like that. Be conscious that you are saying followed by u. Autografo. Another name with a graphic accent. We have to say each of the vowels. Give it a shot. Aide. Aide. Blend it. Aide. Ionizar. Ionizar. Okay, try this one on your own. Aire. 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 And another au. Aula. Aula. Okay, we're ready to do more of the tarea. Okay, let's go through this. Volume 1. Okay, so the homework ID, it's 20 pages. It's the same homework, but now we can do pages 6 to 7. Okay, so you're just working your way through it. If you haven't gotten it, there's the QR code and the discount code. Okay, let's get back to here. Okay, and you are ready to do these pages here, okay? The exceptional syllables, which are the compound syllables and the ones that used to be letters. Okay, that's what you're going to be practicing in these couple of pages. And we are at the end. Thank you so much for your kind attention. In the next lesson, part 2, we continue working with syllables to achieve a natural Spanish accent. A former student who is now fluent once told me that she felt like she was dissecting words in this lesson. Maybe you can relate to that. And that's exactly what we need to do. We need to break up words into syllables so we can assemble the sounds the way native speakers do, leading us to a natural Spanish accent. Don't forget to do the homework and practice exercises. And I'll see you in part 2.